Hello and welcome, I'm Frank Piotrowski, and today we're going to talk about three key questions that you should ask yourself before you automize any task. Well, when it comes to automation, a lot of folks might think, well, if I could automize this task, that could be very, very good because I would save a huge amount of time. And that looks tempting. To be honest, it looks tempting. It's probably work that they don't like to do. It's probably work that's not popular enough. It's probably work that occurs on a regular basis, but that is annoying and disturbs the regular daily workflow. Whatever the reasons are, they might look plausible and justified at first glance. But sometimes it is not appropriate to automize a task. Sometimes it's not worth the effort you've got to take to develop an automation process for that. The task can be pretty simple. It's not about the task being too complex. The usual routine can be very, very simple, and probably it's automized very, very quickly. It's not about the usual task, it's about the exceptions that occur to it. It probably are not many exceptions that occur, but you've got to handle these exceptions. And you've got to think through all exceptions. So this can get very, very hard, they're very, very tricky to develop, and this is where the hidden costs are. It's probably just 2 or 3% that are exceptions to the task, but these 2 or 3% are where the hidden costs are. When it comes to an exception, you've got to decide whether you should work on it manually, whether you should handle it manually, and if you decide so, you need kind of a user interface to do so, to tell the automation process, well, I'm doing this manually, I did do it, I've had it done, so you can ignore it, whatever. So this is where it comes to the hidden costs. And this is why you should ask yourself 3 key questions before you automize any task. Let's come to the first question. How much work will the task really take? And this is crucial. Just as I mentioned before, people can be very, very subjective. Well, this is my work. My work is the most important work that can be done. This is a thought that can get very, very obsessive. And you won't agree to this on a conscious level, but your subconsciousness works this way. You are the center of the universe. This is what your subconsciousness tells you, because it only knows your experiences, your point of view, your feelings, what you see, all of it. All of your experiences are understood by the subconscious, but you are the center of the universe. Well, and this is a tough one. You are not. So, well, this is very, very important that you, when you look at a task, if you want to automize it, look at it on an objective level. Be objective. Probably better let someone else do this. Let someone else, an outsider, look at it, because he could be more objective than you are. Let's come to the second question. How big is the actual workload of the task? Well, this is a little anecdote that I've experienced in my work. We moved servers from a physical to a virtual environment, and this is why the fax capabilities of the main server were cut off. We had the fax card, a Dialogic Diva card, to be installed into the host machine, running in Windows Server 2008, not part of a Windows domain. And this host machine hosted via Hyper-V, the other servers, and the Exchange server has been on a Windows Server 2008 as well, but this one was integrated into a Windows domain. And usually the faxes came in and were delivered via email to the end users. But somehow this didn't work in all cases. Some came through, some didn't. And I started to work and to look at where is the problem, what holds the faxes back, why couldn't it connect, and on and on. And I spent hours in it. Actually, it is still not working because there's a bug in the fax services on the Windows Server 2008 with that Microsoft, as far as I know, didn't fix up to now. And this is why a lot of faxes didn't come through. And I was working on it and looking and searching, and suddenly somebody came up with a question, well, about how many faxes are we talking about here? And we discovered that we are talking about around 9 fax messages per day. This is not much. But this is what led us to the conclusion: stop searching, stop wasting money, better let a person do this. Let an employee check the folder where the faxes came in. Because 9 faxes a day is not very, very hard for a person to do. And the lesson we learned here: always check for the workload, for the amount of data that will be produced by the task. Because it is easier, if the workload is small, it is easier and more cost effective if you say, well, this is done manually. You just need to do it. It's around 20 seconds work, something like that. Instead of spending hours and hours developing a solution that costs a lot of money. So we did this. We did check it manually, and this led to a better return on investment. Very, very important. Next question. Third question. How long will it take to develop an automation process, and how much will it cost? Well, let's get back to this example with the fax messages from question 2. These messages were very, very important for the company because it contained business processes and orders. So if we hadn't done this, if we hadn't gone through this, then over a long period of time, there would be a lot. There would happen a lot of damage to the company because of lost orders, lost clients, perhaps. And this was very, very important that we checked about this. But on the other hand, we had to make sure that the costs of the development of such a process won't exceed won't exceed a certain limit. And in this case, it was more cost effective to do the check manually instead of working on a development that would produce a lot of costs. Well, as you can see, it's not always appropriate to automize any task, and I'm really excited to hear about your experiences and what you think about this. And I'm looking forward for your comments, and I'm looking forward for seeing you next time. Bye bye.